to my channel. This channel is all about Unreal for new and intermediate developers. Check it out and see if there's anything of use to you. This channel is driven by you as viewers, so please leave your comments below. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is part 15 of our Let's Get Cooking series. And in this episode, we're just going to do a couple of little changes and I'll explain them as we go along. See how time goes. Maybe we'll start on the next stage. If not, I will quickly put out another video for the next stage. So the changes we're going to make are, one is in preparation for our next stage, which we're going to do first. And the second is going to be in just as a nice to have change. I got asked how I can display a sign on something in the world, and I thought I can combine this into this video. So what we're going to do, we're going to change out our table here just a little bit. I've made a new asset which will be available as always in the asset pack that will be linked in the description. So let's go ahead and import the asset first. You can keep this asset. If you don't want to do this part, you can skip this asset changing in the next part, but that's up to you. Okay, so let's go to our meshes, and in our appliances we have our prep table here. Okay, first of all, I'm going to move these out of appliances. Reason I don't have, yeah, I do have. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the appliances. I'm going to make a new folder under our meshes. I'm going to call this workstations. Okay, and then in our appliances, I'm going to just drag it right into there. Where didn't it go? Let's try again. Move here. Okay, and always a good idea when you move something is just to right click on the parent folder and just update redirectors. In my case, delete anything, and that just makes sure that you don't get any validation errors or anything like that. So back to our meshes now. We've got our workstations. We can use the same folder, prep station. I'm going to import into the current station, and let me just find the asset pack. Under meshes, I put web table, but I think I put it into there. Yes. I've called it SM station with sign, FBX, so we're going to get that. You can keep that as default. Don't bother, you don't need to import textures, you can use the same textures, so just go ahead and import that. And we have our new prep table. Okay, let's open that up. And we're going to set the material to, I think in my case I've used asset. What will I use actually, to be honest? Let me have a quick look. I don't know if I like this prep table. Basic asset 02. Okay. So we have our table. The only difference really this has at the moment is it has like a sign. To make them down a little bit. So it has a sign, so we can actually put a sign of some sort across here, so that when people are playing the game, you can see, you can name the stations or whatever. You can use the same method for anything in your own game. So we've got our prep table here. And the first thing I'm going to do now is, two things I'm going to do now. First of all, we're going to open up our data assets folder and our base data asset, DA base. We're going to add one more variable to that, and we're going to call it sign text. Now we could, this will put it into everything. We could make a subclass called workstations and add this to this, but at the moment then we'd have to change everything else we've got. So for quickness, we can do it this way. It makes no difference. Okay, so we're going to put that in there. We can go ahead and close the DA base. Now we're going to open up our, appliances. We've got our packing table here. I'm going to make a new folder. And I'm going to call it workstations. And I'm going to open up our appliances folder, and I'm going to remove that one because that was from a practice. So I'm going to move this prep table to workstations. A little bit of housekeeping going on here. Again, update redirectors, probably fine. Go back to our data folder, data assets, workstations. We're going to open up our prep table, and I'm going to change this to workstation with sign. So it just changes the excuse me. It just changes the actual mess. Everything else I'm going to leave the same, except we now have our new sign text. So I'm going to, in capitals, put in prep space. I'm going to call it station. A bit different, prep station. And we're going to save that, close down that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is just to make this our lives a little easier for the setup of this. We are going to go to our blueprints folder, our parents folder, and we're going to right click on the appliances, and we're going to make a child of that, and we're going to call it BPP underscore workstation. By doing it this way, we're not changing too much of what we've already done. If we'd gone back to making it as a child of the base class, we'd have to do quite a lot of other work. So that's not too big of a deal. And we're going to go ahead and save that. So what first of all we're going to do is now we're going to open up our prep table, and again I'm going to make a new folder in here and call it workstations. And I'm just going to, appliances, I'm going to drag our table into workstation. Move here. For some reason it wasn't coming up. Right, okay. I think my mouse is playing up a little bit. Okay, so we can now go to our workstations folder. We can open up our prep station. Just compile it for a moment. What we're going to do then is we'll go to our class settings. Instead of being a BPP appliance, we're going to reparent it to BPP workstation. You will sometimes get a warning. This time we don't, because there's not any major changes. Nothing changes, it will still work the same, but this allows us to do some extra things. So first thing we're going to do is go into our viewport. And in fact, we're going to do this on our workstation. Let's do this on our workstation blueprint. We're going to have our item mesh, we have our grab point, and we have our pivot. We're going to add something called a text renderer. Okay, compile. Okay, and you see here that we can set the text. So just going to leave that as it is for a minute. In our construction script on here, we're going to drag in the text renderer. We're going to say set text. Oh, we're going to drag in our text renderer and say set text. Oh, it's very early here this morning and I haven't had my coffee yet. Okay, so set text. And where we're going to get our text from? Well, we just modified our base data asset. So we can get our sign text. And we can add it to that. Oh, dear me. Okay. So we can do that. That's all we need to do in here for now. The next thing I want to show you, and I've only ever done this once, so if I get this wrong, please forgive me. We also see here we have, this is already doing it, okay, but it's sort of not really in the right place. So we need to adjust this. Now, what we could do is we could actually set the mesh in our base station, so we can line it in our BPP workstation to line it up, which I believe is what I did in my normal one. So we go to our cast defaults. We're just going to get our pep table so that we've got something to work with. So now you see two things wrong with the text. A, it's the wrong way around. B, it's down here on the floor, which we don't want. So if we click on our text renderer, we want to add our rotation as 180. That sorts that out. And we want our location, I use 46 in the X, 0 in the Y, and 158. Okay, and that brings it up to there. I'm going to change the color to black. And I'm going to change the, if I can find it, horizontal alignment to center. And you can see that sort of gets us to where we roughly need to be. We can move it down just a little bit. And let's just check on the sign here. That's great. Okay. Now at the moment, as default, we're sort of stuck with just the one text, because we have to use this default text material with a robot with a distance field and then a material. But we only, as standard, we only get the one of these. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our own, because I want to use the same font as we've used elsewhere in the game. Like I say, I've only done this the once. It's something I learnt myself recently to change this font. So let's hope I remember. The first thing we will do is we'll find where this one is. So just click on a little folder. We're going to right click. We're going to duplicate it. And we're going to call this one default text material opaque. Now I'm going to call it Yikes because that's the font I'm going to use. And then I'm also going to drag it into our fonts folder in our UI artwork. So we should have that here. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is our Yikes font. We're going to duplicate this. And we're going to call this, get rid of some of these spaces, Yikes font distance field. Then we're going to go ahead and open this up. And we're going to change the font cache type from runtime to offline. You can say yes to the warning, it's okay. We're going to choose it in our Windows default. So this will only work if you've got it in your installed in your Windows. And we're going to do a default setting of around about 28. Say okay, you will get this. The next thing we need to do is, I think it's under import option. No characters, no. Okay, it's under import options. We have to go down. It is not legacy mode. Use distance field alpha here. Okay, I'm going to save that. Now, in earlier versions of Windows, you can re-import this, but we can't here, so we're going to right-click, re-import. Okay, it says successfully re-imported. We open it up, and you see we've got like this fuzzy look. Okay, I'm just going to open up mine to make sure I've not done any other settings. But just look a little different. Okay, so the only other thing I think I've done on here, we scroll up to the top, close the character down. Uh, 27, that's correct. Okay, so texture page, here we go. We've got here texture page width. I've made that by 512. Now you see nothing happens, so again we have to go back in and right click and re-import it again. And once you get successfully re-imported, and now you see it's a different shape. So now we've got that, we should be able to, this should work if I've got this correct. And so now we go to our content browser. We go to our font. We open up this material that we made. Okay, and you see that the font here is set to the Robo. We're going to look for our Yikes distance field. Change it to that. Apply. Save. Now if we go to our BPP workstation, we can choose our yikes distance field, and we choose our yikes opacity. You see it will change both of these. Now you see we have our font that we want in our game. It has worked. Okay, the only problem is it's a little bit big. No problem, because we can change that. And let me just check, see what I put it on my game. I put it down to 18. And I can move that up just a little bit, make it look central. And I found that works. So now we've got our own fonts. You can change the colors, and for some reason they're not vibrant. That's something I will work on. But for now, we're just going to leave it as black. So now if we look back in our level, in fact, what we need to do now is also, now that we've done that, we can go ahead and go to our class defaults, and we can clear this just so we don't get any confusion. Okay. Go back to our level now. We can move the table. Okay, we need to add that. Okay, so go to our BPP prep table. Make sure class default is set to our prep table. Now we go to our level. We have a nicely labeled stand. Okay. And the next thing we're going to do in this video, I'm going to keep this one very short, try and keep it around 30 minutes. Next thing I'm going to do is the next thing, which is a quick change in preparation for our recipe. Okay. So what I would like you to do is open up your data assets and go to our DA recipe data asset. Again, class settings, we're going to change it from primary to our base data asset. Now you will see you get name and description 0 here, okay? Because we've already got them in, so we've got description here already, so it's the same name, so class this is 0. We're going to be changing that in a moment, and we're going to be changing the icon. So what we're going to do is very quickly, we are going to make the changes, then we're going to delete those two, so that we don't do too much extra work. We can go to that data asset recipes. We're going to open up both of these. Okay, you see now we've got these added ones down the bottom here. Okay. So that where we've got icon here. Okay, we're going to select that. And we're going to go all the way down to this icon, and we're going to choose the same icon. The name we're going to copy here, cut it here, paste it here, and the description, you can just click on Control X and paste it down here. Everything else will remain the same. We're just going to change those 3 points, and you can go ahead and clear this just so we know we've done it. Save that one and do the same for the other one. Select the item, move it to this icon, cut this, paste it, cut this, paste it. This will just help later on because I decided to change slightly the way that we look at it, and for further on in the game, this will make life a little bit easier. Everything else can stay the same. So make sure you save them. You will get any unsaved. Make sure you save them. And we're going to go ahead and close them. That's our DA recipe. The name here. Going to delete. You're going to get a warning. Just say yes. You can delete the icon. So description. Again, you'll get a warning, and we're going to delete the icon. And again, you will get a warning. Okay. And the warning is because we are using those in our UI. So we're going to go to our UI. We're going to first of all open up the recipe book. And we're also going to open up the recipe page. Now, if we try and compile these, you'll get errors. So in this case, it's a help because we find out where it is. And the error is because we've deleted that. Okay. So we're just going to look for a name here. You see it says get item name. We can just change that over. And we're going to look for description. Get description here. Delete that. And this one we're looking for icon. And we can delete the old one. Compile. That should be fine. On the recipe book, again, we're going to try and compile. We're going to get the one problem here. So we're going to come out of here and we're going to get name again, because it's called item name. Okay. Compile, and that all compiles. And we can do a very quick test to make sure everything still works in our recipe book. So we have our listings, click on them, we have our icons, our description, our name, everything's working fine there. And because we've not changed any code in the prep table, that's going to work absolutely fine. So there's going to be no issues there. So I'm going to call it here for this one. And I will get straight back on and make another video, which will be part 16, where we will be making a packing station and we'll be importing some assets to pack our finished food in. And then after that, we'll be moving on to a delivery station. Thank you for watching as always. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. If you really like my work, join my Patreon or buy me a coffee. Any questions, you can join my Discord. I'm happy to answer any questions. Please leave any comments below. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.